What's up guys, it's Carter and I'm back with another video. And here are my workouts for the week. Running conjugate upper lower split 4 days a week, 2 max effort days and 2 dynamic effort days. So we start off a max effort upper day and we did a buffalo bar bench. This is actually the Yukon bar from Titan Fitness. And I worked up to, this is 280. Pretty solid. Got a little slow there at that sticking point I've been having problems with. Coach said he wanted to see a longer pause there too as well, so that was kind of touch and go. And I called it there. Probably could have gone up just a little more, but not much. The pressing strength just really wasn't there that day, so called it there. Moved on to some dumbbell bench press, and hadn't done these in a couple months. I was having some, pec inflammation stuff. These were working really well for me, building my bench up. However, I started getting a little bit of pec inflammation, so we took them out and we're doing some floor presses and some other stuff with shorter range of motion. And I definitely lost a little bit of pressing strength doing that and towards the end of my cut. But back to doing these dumbbell presses. Also did incline dumbbell presses, so 3 sets of each. I think I used 80 pounds for the flat dumbbell presses and then 70s for these inclines. I'm using about a 30-degree incline. And I'm starting pretty conservative with the weight here. I actually did get a little bit of soreness from this, and I had a nice pump for these, so they did feel really good, and I'm happy with how they went, but I'll definitely be upping it next week. Then we moved on to some pull downs, and I switched to a narrow grip pull down this day because, again, having some inflammation in that forearm. Those Prime Fitness handles were kind of aggravating the forearm a little bit. So I switched to this narrow grip. Didn't seem to bother it as much, but definitely felt this more in the lats than the upper back. And we decided to take the dumbbell rows out for a little while, as those were aggravating the forearm a little bit too. We'll have to reevaluate going forward, but then we moved on to some dumbbell lateral raises and using about 25 pounds here, and these felt pretty good. These have always just been a nice little accessory for the shoulders. Always liked them, so I was happy when Coach added them in. I like them a lot. I did 3 sets of 10 for these. And then we moved on to the tricep band press downs. And if you guys have been following this vlog for a while, you know this has been my bread and butter. This is how I've been able to keep my elbows healthy. I used to have real bad elbow tendonitis, and keeping them triceps strong. And then we move on to max effort lower day. As you can see, I'm using a cambered bar here. This is actually the Titan axle bar and the Titan cambered sleeves attached to that. And just using that for the camber bar variation. And this is 330 here, and moved pretty nice. Had a little bit of a scary moment there when I was trying to re-rack. Probably should have had the monoliths a little lower, so I missed that right side of the re-rack. And luckily I was still bracing because I could have hurt my back there. That's something that could have totally hurt my back, and I'm really glad it didn't. Then he moved on to some good mornings, and this is a movement I haven't been able to do for the better part of a year while I rehab my back. Really happy to be able to do these again because they are a great squat builder and deadlift builder. So really glad to be back at these. Upped them a little bit in weight. I think I went up to 105, so that's up 10 pounds from the last time I did them. And they were feeling pretty good. Felt a lot better than the first couple sessions I did, and so really happy with those. Then we moved on to some belt squats. You can see I just left my shoes on, those Reebok lifting shoes with the raised heel. I put them on mostly for that max effort squat, and then I just decided to leave them on for the good mornings for stability purposes, because I noticed when I don't have good stability, it'll bother my hip a little bit. So I just left these shoes on here and then decided to leave them on for the belt squats too. With the raised heel, I'm probably getting a little more quad activation, but still a wide stance and trying to sit back a lot. So those went well. I'd up those a little bit as well, up to 10 pounds to 240. And for both the belt squats and the good mornings, we're doing 1 rep in reserve for those, so taking them a little closer to failure. Usually for most of my working sets, I'm going 2 reps in reserve, so working those a little harder and taking them a little closer to failure. And then we moved on to the glute ham raises, and these are definitely harder after the good mornings, but they're good for more hypertrophy on the hamstrings, the glutes, and the spinal erectors, along with these reverse hypers. So we did 3 sets of the glute ham raises. We had lowered those down from 5 because we threw in those good mornings, but we keep the reverse hypers at 5 sets of 25. And I'm using 145 pounds here. I stayed at this weight. I was pushing it up about 5 pounds every week, but I stayed at this weight because I started getting a little more range of motion and really squeezing the glutes at the top. So I found that it was a lot tougher. So kind of staying with 145 for the time being, and we'll see when I push those up a little more. But right now, I'm good at that. And then we moved on to a dynamic effort upper day and doing speed bench, but I decided to kind of break up the eccentric and the concentric because I want to make sure I'm not bouncing off the chest. I really want to be explosive out of the bottom, but if I'm bouncing off the chest, then I'm kind of defeating the purpose of the speed work. So just trying something a little different, putting a pause in between those. And they felt good. They were still fast, still felt pretty explosive. So using 80 pounds bar weight and 80 pounds of bands. That's a blue and a red Rogue band. And then we moved on to some incline dumbbell presses. And I stayed at 70 pounds for these, but went up in the angle a little bit, went to more of a 45-degree angle. And these felt good, got a nice pump in the chest. I really did miss the dumbbell presses, so I'm glad to be getting back to those. And I really think they're going to improve the bench and build up some pec, because that's what I seem to be missing on the flat bench. And then we moved on to some pull downs, and coach suggested that I try the regular straight lat pull down bar and try a thumb over grip to kind of alleviate some of the pressure it puts on my index finger and middle finger. And at work, these felt a lot better. So, you know, before the pain was probably like a 5 out of 10, that was more like a 2 out of 10. So it's definitely something I can roll with going forward. And then we did some upright rows. He threw these in here, but as you can see, that shoulder's kind of trying to make up for that forearm that's bothering me. So I felt it a little bit while I was doing them, but watching these, I can definitely tell that, you know, I'm favoring that side. And so right after this set, I told coach, I said, hey, I don't think these are good for the forearm. And he said, okay, well, let's go ahead and roll with some more lateral raises. So I finished the next 2 sets with lateral raises instead of the upright rows. And then we finished with some, you guessed it, band press downs for the triceps. And then we moved on to dynamic effort lower day. And we're doing some box squats here with the buffalo bar. And I didn't like these. These didn't go as well as I had hoped. This was my last set, and it was probably my best one. All the other ones, I was having some balance issues trying to kind of figure out my best position for those. So I wasn't really happy with those. We'll probably go with the SSB rolling forward for that speed work. And then we did some deadlift, speed deadlifts as well, and using 100 pounds and a band tension and 125 pounds on the bar there. And those were nice and fast. Felt really good, not really worrying about my back at all when doing those speed pulls now, so that's a good sign. Used to be in the back of my mind a lot. And it wasn't in the back of my mind for these good mornings either, and I upped these another 10 pounds because the other set felt so good. So I'm up to 125 on these. I'm sorry, 115. And you can see on each rep, I brace, make sure I have good core stiffness, and then re-brace again each rep. So making good progress with these, and that was 3 sets of 10. And then it was on to glute ham raises for 3 sets as well, and still using just body weight for these. I'm up, let's see, between 205 and 207 right now. As you guys may remember, I ended my cut at about 201, maybe 202. So I'm already up about 5 pounds or so since the cut ended. It's about 3 weeks ago. So just a little update on the weight there. And I'm loving the bulk. I could get to eat again. It's great. And then we ended with some reverse hypers as usual. And again, really trying to get a good range of motion for these and really squeeze the glutes at the top, and definitely makes it a lot harder. And then I make sure to resist on the way down and not let it swing a lot, and just let the momentum carry it, because that is not the point of this exercise. So that's going to do it for this week of workouts, guys. I appreciate you watching. As always, like the video and subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and get in those comments and let me know what you guys think. And if you watch these videos and you haven't commented before, go ahead and drop a comment below. I'd really like to hear from you guys. So appreciate you guys watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one.